Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Right Time, a Wave original. My name is Bomani Jones. Thanks for listening wherever you get your podcast. Thanks for watching us on YouTube. Subscribe, like, rate us, review us, give us 5 stars. You only give us 4 stars. I'm inclined to believe you are a hater. It is that time of week where we have a guest joining us. Check him out at Yahoo Sports. Charles McDonald, what's going on?
Nothing much. Good to be here, especially coming off a big national TV Falcons win this weekend, beating down on that Minnesota Vikings. So I think this is the first time that I've had something positive to say about the Falcons around you. So that was a nice way to cap the weekend off.
Yeah, we're going to get to that. The first point I'm going to make is I'm going to do everything I can. I guess it doesn't have to come up too much anymore. I'm going to call you Charles McDonald and not Charles Robinson because I'm totally the guy at this point in my life where I'm playing the neighborhood play on all these names. Poor Justin Jefferson. I call him his brother's name like I'm his mama. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Like, those of you who don't understand me calling Justin Jefferson Jordan Jefferson, clearly, if you are a man, you don't have a brother because this is just how it works from time to time. If it's two of y'all going to get called by the other name. I will say right fast about the Falcons. I was watching the game against the Vikings, and I had to text you, and I was like, yo, Falcons is out here looking like Bama, dog. They was out here jumping routes. They was getting heat.
And I'm looking like, Vikings, y'all okay? Because, look, I know that they spent a lot on this defense, right? Three first-round picks on 2 rookie edge rushers because they traded up for James Pierce. Then they added Xavier Watson, Billy Bowman on day 2 of the draft to play safety and nickel for them. So you took one of the worst defenses in football last year, and you added 4 rookies and Divine Diablo, who's like a journeyman linebacker kind of guy from the Raiders. Shouldn't be whipping y'all that bad, Like I'm a little like excited about where they are after that game. But if I was a Vikings fans, I'd be freaking out because their backup offensive linemen in there who were for Darisaw and Ryan Kelly, the center, they can't get it done. And JJ McCarthy clearly is not ready to get it done when the circumstances are not perfect around him. So that's a red alert for the Vikings to me more than it really is like a big cheering on for the Falcons.
Yo, I think it could get really weird for them. McCarthy is now hurt. Maybe you know off the top of your head who that means is going to be the quarterback.
Carson Wentz.
Oh, that's right. I did see Prince Harry on the sideline.
That's right. Yeah.
Right?
He started.
I don't think I fully realized how much Carson Wentz looked like Prince Harry until I saw him on the sideline of that game. And I was like, what's Prince Harry doing there? And I was like, damn, wait a minute. Is that Carson Wentz?
I saw something. He's about to break a record for most consecutive seasons starting a game for a different team. I think he's about to hit 6 teams in 6 seasons since that Eagles stint landed. And you could have told me that he hasn't played since Jalen Hurts took his job, and I would also believe that too.
Okay, so he has played for the Eagles. He has played for the Chiefs.
Yep.
He has played for the Colts. Mm-hmm. He is now playing for the Vikings. Who are the other 2?
Oh, the Commanders was one.
Oh, that's right. That did happen.
And then the last one was he in the Rams like the zombie year when they had Baker and stuff like that? Yes, he was.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Yo, so what's wild about this is I never thought he was terrible. Like, he is a clear example of what happens when people don't like you that much. Because you can figure this out in some other way. Like, I mean, he lost his job to Jalen Hurts. And by the way, he should have lost his job to Jalen Hurts. But Jalen Hurts is get the job and keep it guy, not I ran you off your corner guy.
Right.
He ran him off. In fact, wasn't that part of what we were thinking is that part of what got Doug Peterson fired? Was that he was like, nah, we going with this dude. And they was like, what, are you crazy? And then look what happened.
Yeah, I mean, it really is fascinating, though, because, dude, I remember, I was about to say, it feels like the other day, but this is 8 years ago now when people doing the Wentz versus Dak wars. And Carson got a big contract extension. Like, that was market rate at the time. I mean, like you said, he wasn't bad, but the thing is, like, his body just died on him because he was a powerhouse athlete, big arm, fast, but not the most I guess detailed guy sometimes between the numbers because that last season he had that was huge. They were really only good on third down, but shoot, that's enough to lead an offense that can get you somewhere close to the Super Bowl. And then all the injuries happen, and then people decide, only tolerated you because you had the big arm. You're running 4.5. Now that you're not doing that no more, you might got to get out of here.
All-time weird quarterback draft 2016. Jared Goff, Carson Wentz are the top 2 picks. A gentleman that some of you may remember, but probably don't. Paxton Lynch,
yes.
The first round pick that Stephen Jones had to save Jerry from taking, who was out of the league in like 30, 45 minutes. I can't even remember exactly
I don't think he had been hit. I don't even think he had 150 passing attempts in the NFL.
Yo, hold on. I forgot who else was in this draft. Christian Hackenberg.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Connor Cook. I forgot. But the guy who turned out to be the guy, Dak Prescott, 4th round pick. Oh, hold on. Jacoby Brissett was a 3rd round pick in that draft. Cody Kessler was a 3rd round pick in that draft. Then we get to Connor Cook. And Dak Prescott, who I have tried to figure out for a long time how it is that he slipped that far in the draft. Like 2-time first team, all SEC quarterback, had the size, has the physical tools, and I think it just really came down to one thing. And some of you are going to say he caught a DUI, and that's part of it, but you know what it was.
Which is funny because he's got the temperament that they like, you know.
Yeah, but the guy
that Dak.
Hold on. For those of you who don't know the thing that I'm talking about, the white boys whooped his ass at Panama City Beach during spring break one time, but it was caught on video. I mean, they whooped his ass, and I feel like it was the fair one though. Like I don't want to say they whooped his ass like he got jumped. He squared up and just got his ass kicked, and you just had to decide whether that was a man that you could follow into battle.
Which is fair because I honestly I swear someone brings up that video to me at least like twice a year, and that happened 10 years ago, dog. Like it was a legendary ass whooping. But the Dak Prescott pick is fascinating to me because it was kind of like they just said, okay, I guess we'll do it. Because for those who don't remember, with the draft that year, that was the last year that teams weren't allowed to trade their compensatory picks. Like if you have a free agent who signs somewhere to another team, the following year you get a pick. So the Cowboys, they had this 4th round compensatory pick that they couldn't trade. So they tried to get Paxton Lynch, couldn't do it. They tried to trade for Connor Cook, couldn't do it. So they're sitting here with this 4th round pick that they can't trade. They need a backup for Tony Romo. And they're like, all right, let's just take Dak Prescott. He's the last one.
He took his job. Also, everybody says the greatest thing to have is a young quarterback that's good on a cost control contract, and they had that. And Dak Prescott was like, enough of that. I'm the new Kirk Cousins. I'm getting every dime of surplus. And shout out to Ryan for letting us know it was at a Waka Flocka Flame concert that Dak Prescott got tuned up by those Caucasians.
Not at the Waka concert. Like you can fight at the Waka concert, but you can't get beat up by white people at the Waka.
I guess that means that Dak ain't got no hands.
Okay.
You get it?
I get it. Yeah. I've heard that song before. Yeah. I'm 31. That's very much my era, you know.
yeah. Fair. It's wild to think how old that song is now, but just had to throw it out there. No hands. But we got to there because we were talking about JJ McCarthy being hurt, and it's already week 3, and we got a lot to talk about with quarterbacks being hurt. It looks like Jayden Daniels might not play in week 3. Joe Burrow looks like he won't play in 2025. We got Brock Purdy. He looks like he's going to be out for a minute. I've seen a few people try to hypothesize exactly why it is that all the quarterbacks are getting hurt. I don't have the answer for that right there. I do think the Joe Burrow one is interesting because Joe Burrow, and I'm curious what you think about this. You as somebody that knows more actual football than I do. What I remember the first time I saw like the 2019 LSU Joe Burrow, I watched him play one series early in the season, and I was like, oh, okay, if they beat Alabama, they're going to win the national championship, and he's going to be the number 1 pick in the draft, and he's going to win the Heisman. And what I saw was a dude that moved really well in the pocket, like not running fast, but he dropped back, he move up, he go to the side, he keep his eyes down the field, he do all of those things, and he get it done. But that is also a more positive end of one of the more damning characteristics a quarterback can have, which is takes too long to throw, right? He holds the ball for a long time. He gets great results in holding the ball for a long time, right? He can overcome it. And normally you need to be like a Cam Newton, huge physical specimen to be the guy that overcomes holding the ball for that long. No, Joe Burrow does it by getting it done just in time and being willing to get the dog shit knocked out of him in the process. And this is going to shock you, but he misses a lot of games. Now, I've seen people who blame the Bengals for not investing in the offensive line, which is a fair point somewhat, right?
Somewhat.
It does take us back to one of the great dilemmas. The Lions and the Bengals in the same season in the first round took probable Hall of Famers in Jamar Chase and Penei Sewell. And no matter how good Jamar Chase is, it's always been fair to ask if they took the wrong guy just because Joe Burrow keeps getting knocked around. But the point I want to make, and it's a point that if you listen to this show, you know I make all the time, sacks are a quarterback stat. He takes a lot of sacks, and he'll do that if he is playing behind an 8-man offensive line because he's always going to be back there waiting. But I also don't know how much they put around him. Like, is this just going to be what it is, you think, with him?
I think this is probably just what it is with him for the future. I mean, the thing with Joe is like he's tried I'm not going to drop back there and get beat up when it was early last season, and then I think part of the season before when he was coming off the wrist injury. And it doesn't work for him, you know? He turns into like this ultra conservative, throwing for 3 yards a pass. It just doesn't fit with his play style, which is kind of interesting because it's not like he has like the big arm. He's just got like good arm talent, I guess, where you can just kind of put it in spots where he needs to. But like that lack of like high end physical talent, like there's a reason why like Lamar and Josh Allen can play like that. They don't really miss games, you know, because they've got the talent to get away from those hits and not take the big hits. But Joe, when it gets to sit in duck mode and he's waiting that one last second for Jamar Chase to hit like to pass that second defender window so we can go off for a 7-yard touchdown, that's when he's getting crushed. And especially when they got the backup offensive lineman in, who's they got torched by Jacksonville in the first half. It's just I just think this is probably always what's going to be, but it's not like you can get rid of that. So as long as you can just mitigate some of the damage up front and just keep spamming picks into the offensive line and hope those guys stay healthy, it's about all you can do because I don't really know where else you would go from here.
Well, let me add, this is to me the interesting Joe Burrow question, and I say this as a guy who enjoys Joe Burrow. Like Joe Burrow is all good with me, right? I like his get down. I like the way he plays. I just want to point out that I have never seen Joe Burrow be successful without excellent talent to get the ball to, right? It's not his fault that he has excellent talent. And I'm not sure that everybody could do as well as he can with the excellent talent that we're discussing. But look, man, it is entirely possible that we'll look back at 2019 LSU as having 3 Hall of Famers on offense, a quarterback and 2 wide receivers. Like it almost looks like a foregone conclusion. He was throwing imagine if somebody in the NFL was throwing to Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, who, if I'm not mistaken, might have even been like the number 3 receiver on that team, right?
He was definitely number 2. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Like I say, but that's what he had, and what we saw was maybe the greatest college offense that there has ever been. That first year with the Bengals, before he got hurt, it was cool, but it sure looked a lot different once Jamar Chase showed up again, right? And then it's Jamar Chase and it's T. Higgins, and Joe Mixon was still giving you something in the backfield.
Tyler Boyd was the wide receiver 3 for a little bit. He still has something in the tank, you know?
Right. So the question to be asked is, I think it's fair to say, or to question whether or not the Bengals have over-invested in receivers, you know, in a salary cap sport, right? We were like, you got to give the money to Trey Hendrickson, but we're like, hey, they decided to give the money to T. Higgins. So how do we figure this out? And I want to be very clear about this. I'm not out here saying that the Bengals know what they're doing, right? I don't want you to think that I don't want you to think that I'm automatically giving them the benefit of the doubt. Yeah. Don't that, like, that's one of those blink 2 times if you okay, Bomani. Y'all been listening to this show. You know how I feel about this. But what if the Bengals decided that actually Joe Burrow is in the category of the Kirk Cousinses, in that you need to get it cracking around them to really make it happen?
which is ultimately fine because like you have proof that this can like you have proof that if I got Joe Burrow and a dude or two on the outside, we can have the best passing game in football,
Right.
like pretty comfortably. I mean, you do even like, what's kind of messed up and fun about the Bengals as someone who's not a Bengals fan is their defense being so bad has just produced like some incredible like feverish hero ball from Burrow, Chase, and Higgins, where they're just like, bro, we gotta have it on this drive, every drive. Like the Chargers game last year, where Justin Herbert had a big game against their defense, and then eventually Jamar Chase and T. Higgins said, no, we're the superstars here. We got to drag it across the finish line. But that's not really a sustainable way to like win games. It's fun to watch, but when you get down to it, like their defense just isn't good enough. Before the Jaguars jaguared out and couldn't do that, couldn't finish the game as they wanted to. They were moving the ball pretty well, and then like Joe Flacco and the Browns are moving the ball pretty well too. So it's kind of hard to parse like where do you go with your resources here, because obviously like he needs offensive line help if he's going to be the guy that's going to play like he is, and that's the best way for him to utilize his talent. So you got to honestly like continue to enforce that by getting offensive linemen. But man, this defense. Like, dude, you ain't starving Lamar Jackson or Derrick Henry. So I guess you got to keep trying to go score 40 points a game. It's a tough life to live.
Yeah, but you got to, at the very least, you got to go get a tackle, left or right? Like,
yeah.
I talked about this on the show. I could be wrong, man, but I feel like the hit rate on them tackles is high, man.
They drafted one last year, but he was hurt this week. Marius Mims.
Oh, is that
from
Mims?
Georgia. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that was the thing at Georgia. Like he was hurt a lot. When he's on the field, he's incredible, but you got to be on the field, bro.
Yeah. So one thing that's always interesting about the Bengals, and historically they were known for drafting Big Ten players because they did not invest in scouts. So they just they drafted a lot of guys that were very close. But you would think that for a school that was as decidedly cheap, or not a school, but a team that's as decidedly cheap as they are, you would think their college game would be so on point, right? Like, because they got to get the most out of these cats when they don't cost no money. No, it doesn't really seem to go that way. But it feels like everybody else sees a left tackle, gets a left tackle. Problem solved, right? The whatchamacallem, the Chargers, they drafted 2 left tackles in 4 years.
Yeah, they did. And look, I should rephrase some of what I said about the Bengals, because it's not like they haven't tried like to put defenders into tried to put resources into this defense where you've seen the talent walk out over the years, guys like Jesse Bates in Atlanta, DJ Reader, Jermaine Pratt, who has some good years for them. So they've tried. They've got 2 first-round picks on the defensive line in Shamar Stewart and Miles Murphy since then. They've got another second-round pick in Chris Jenkins Jr. They've got a second-round pick at linebacker, Demetrius Knight. They've got a multitude of first, second, and third-round picks in the defensive backfield. This is all in like the past 3 or 4 years. So they have really, really tried to put talent. They just missed on like every single pick that they've tried on defense. They've missed so far. It's in the past 3 or 4 years. So they got to keep playing Big 12 ball. That's all they got.
So I'm gonna throw a couple things out here for people. If you did not know this about Marius Mims, here are his dimensions from the combine: 6'7 3/4, 340 pounds, and had the nerve to run a 5.07 in the 40.
That's right.
That is terrifying. Did you see what was his name? Josh Simmons, when he went and got that dude on the interception in the Chiefs-Eagles game? And Josh Simmons is the Chiefs' rookie left tackle. He went to Ohio State. And one of my favorite things in the NFL is anything that allows one of these linemen to have to like stretch it out or run for like get the where the height matters, right? And so they're stretching those legs out and they have time to get up some speed. Hey man, I can't imagine how much it hurt that dude to catch that shoulder and them thighs from that big old dude.
Bro, he tore his patella tendon less than a year ago. Like that is the crazy thing to me. Like he was at Ohio State last year. He tore his patella tendon in like October or November in the middle of their season, and because Nate Tice, who I do the show with, Football 301, we were kind of looking at him this summer like, man, he's a freak athlete. Like what if he's one of those guys like an Adrian Peterson type where I'm Wolverine, I'm back in a second, and then he was back. Full participant for the first day of full pads of Chiefs training camp. I was like, what? What? I used to know a patella tendon tear is like a career ender. And he's back in like 10 months, full speed, full pads. Like, no, that boy's built different. But that's one guy. Get Pat about a few more of those, and maybe we can start talking about the Chiefs getting back to where they used to be. Because I hate watching them now. I hate it. It's so boring.
Yeah. We talked about this. It feels like work. Like I say, it's like watching your favorite artist a little bit past their prime. But I want to ask this right fast about the Bengals, though. Perhaps the solution is I feel like they don't have nearly as many arrestable players as they used to. Is that what it feels like? Like I don't feel like we talking about them like they like maybe they need to start getting some cats living on the edge a little bit more, right? Like Vontaze Burfict, who by the way is coaching people now. He did not count as arrestable, but he played football as though he was arrestable. If I am not mistaken, I saw that Vontaze Burfict was coaching somewhere now. Let me look this up to make sure that I have not completely lost my mind. But I saw him doing something that I was like, there's no way that Vontaze Burfict is doing this.
At UNLV?
Yes, he is. He's a defensive analyst. That's right. My bad. I did not get this wrong. Of course, maybe the argument is the only place that you could get Vontaze Burfict as a coach is in Las Vegas. But Paul Gunther, former defensive coordinator at the Bengals, brought Burfict. That tells you that Vontaze Burfict is one of these guys that if you know him, you just love him.
Yes, right? yes. Once he's your guy, he's your guy. And there's nothing that anyone can say, look, I know what you saw is bad, but trust me, like once you get around him a little bit, like it'll be okay. It'll be okay. And Burfict was fascinating because I remember watching, like he was one of the first like YouTube athletes that like we kind of like got captured with as far as people in my generation just trying to figure out what's out there. And I thought that because I remember so specifically. There's this video, the highlight video was like Vontaze Burfict because could he be the next Ray Lewis? And you watch those clips, you're like, shoot, I don't know, maybe he could. Yeah. And then he came out at the combine and ran 5-second 40, dog.
He is the best player. He's the best college player I've ever seen. That the entire league said no thanks to his draft. Like, as I recall, he made it all the way to the end.
Yeah, he was undrafted.
He was undrafted. And he went into he was a first team All-American as a junior. And he got invited to the combine.
He was amazing. He was a really good college player.
Yes, no, I cannot imagine first of all, I can't imagine what it was like to try to coach him. And he had this penchant for these illegal hits that, of course, the most memorable thing that he did in his time in Cincinnati was it was that last drive against the Steelers that may or may not have changed Antonio Brown's life forever. But it was the end of that game. They had A.J. McCarron at quarterback, I remember, and they were set up to win it. And I'm talking about how the Bengals used to have arrestable players. And they really used to have arrestable players. But their thing was they like shopping for bargains and they get a lot of open box specials and they get dudes that was on the edge in ways that, depending on who you were talking about, were okay. And some of them were absolutely indefensible. But anyway, the end of that game was Jeremy Hill making a fumble, Pac-Man Jones losing it completely at the end, and Vontaze Burfict catching that 15-yard penalty. The three most Bengals that on the whole team, the most Bengals that they had, and they all fell apart at the worst time.
That reminds me of a couple of weeks ago. I've been reading about Chris Henry Jr.
Yes.
Late Chris Henry. His son is a monster football player. But I was reading something that Pac-Man Jones had been.
That's right. He's like his play dad.
Yeah, and I was like, huh. That's interesting, isn't it? And then I also read over the past few years, TJ Houshmandzadeh has been getting a little bit more involved in helping him train and get ready for football stuff. So I was like, I would love to know like what some of the conversations were there between TJ and Pac-Man about steering this young man.
Look, man, that's because Chris Henry appears to be another. You just got to be around him, and if you are, you'll come to love this guy, right? That's how it goes. By the way, check this text I just sent you. I think it may be an explanation for the change in direction for Vontaze Burfict. Just hold on. I'm going to send you another one. I believe that sometimes when you get changes like these, it leave us with
Hey,
one explanation.
We all got a couple of homies like that, man.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? like I can't say this out loud, right? It's not fair to say out loud, but that is exactly it. We all got a couple homies that I'll give you another example of this on text. And people was like, yo, man, y'all was wrong. And I'm like, nah, something changed. And I think I know what it was. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, sometimes some of those friends, you guys say, hey, why don't we put down some of this drinking and some of this other stuff until we get this right, you know?
Yeah, it's like, hey, man, let me run something by you here. You know what I'm saying? But no, that's I think the Bengals need to get back to their roots. You know what I'm saying? Like that
little edge. They lost their edge. Yeah.
That is they lost their essence. They forgot what they was in it for. Because that's the thing about Mike Brown. Mike Brown, he got like a Father Flanagan sort of vibe. You know what I mean? Like he wants to save the day. Though in real life, everything about him indicates that he doesn't care about saving these people at all.
At all. They had like a scouting department with like 4 people at one point.
That's right. That's right.
Literally but also, people.
Yeah, but also, Mike Brown's politics do not imply that he is here in the name of the betterment of these hard scrabble youths.
Yeah. Okay, I will say, if you want to get a good laugh, the website Open Secrets, if you ever look up Mike Brown and the donations, boy, he's stingy. Even the people he likes, it's hilarious. Even the people he likes, it's a drop in the bucket, dog. I got a good laugh. You want go look up Mike Brown's Open Secrets political donation. It's very funny. He's a penny.
He doesn't give
it
to anybody.
Anyway, this is a billionaire, dog. A billionaire.
I mean, to be fair though, he's a billionaire, but the money is all in the Bengals.
Right.
Right. Like that's the one thing I do say is he is only a billionaire because he owns the Bengals. Right. Like that's it. Oh, hold on. He gave $1,700 to Lindsey Graham. No, hold on. I'm sorry. He gave him, and I don't know how this works. He gave him $5,000, and that same day took back $1,700 of it.
Right? That's what I'm saying. He's just like this. It's like Bengals fans.
Just about you.
Yeah, Bengals fans don't even take it personally. Like he's out here, you know, people he wants to win elections. He's pulling back donations, you know?
Now there's a Mike Brown in Cincinnati who is listed as not employed who gave $250 to Kamala Harris. I don't think that is the same Mike Brown. Nope, this other one is listed as Cincinnati Bengals. This, by the way, is why, first of all, I got a number of reasons I don't give nobody money, but I know why this has to be public, but I feel like it shouldn't.
Yeah.
You know,
it probably shouldn't be, but it's funny.
No, the problem is like the people.
Actually, no, it should be. It should be public.
Yeah. My thing is this: the type of people I would give money to, man, I'd never get a job again. like for somebody to have politics to make me actually give them money, shit. Man, hey,
I'd be canceled big time right now.
Look, I ain't giving any mother no money anyway, just because whatever money I give them, it ain't gonna change nothing, right? I'm not gonna give you enough to get me no sway, and therefore I'm not gonna give you enough to change anything that you do. So you go ahead and you make that happen. I feel like when you go to the Met now, they don't charge you; they just let you make a donation. And the first time I was there, I gave them the full donation because I feel like I got it. I'm doing this. Then I stopped and thought about how much they stole from Africa.
That's what I'm saying.
And I was like, what am I doing?
Give them that damn penny.
What am I doing? This is the last thing I'll say about the Met before we go to break. I always say about the Met because if you've never been in the Metropolitan Museum, 81st and 5th Avenue, New York City, the Met has an incredible Egyptian exhibit. Like, it is mind-blowing how dope the Egyptian exhibit is. And it leaves me in a bit of a dilemma where I'm always like, it is so terrible that they took this stuff from the people it belonged to. They could easily give it back, all this stuff. It is ridiculous. It is just terribly unfair that it is in this museum. But what is not terrible is that museum is a 15-minute bus ride away from my house. That part is actually pretty nifty. So I can go in there and give them a piece of my mind and not pay no donation. Anyway, coming up next, we're going to talk about what's going on with Tom Brady and the Raiders. Football is back, and so is your shot at big wins. With DraftKings Pick 6, the official daily fantasy partner of the NFL, your game day instincts can score you real money fast. Here's the play. Just pick more or less on 2 or more player stats, from breakout rookies to elite QBs, and unlock the upside every snap brings. The better your calls, the bigger your payout. Here's the kickoff bonus. New DraftKings customers get $50 in bonus picks with just a $5 entry on your first pick set. This season, play your player instincts. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code Bomani. That's code Bomani. Play just $5, get $50 in Pick 6 bonus picks. Make the call. Ride the upside. In partnership with DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 bonus picks that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
What if a quarterback completed 4 out of 5 of his passes? Or a point guard hit 4 out of 5 behind the arc? Well, now, when you're hiring, you can play at that level because 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. From healthcare to hospitality, to business services, manufacturing, and more, ZipRecruiter makes hiring faster and easier. And today, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/Bomani. ZipRecruiter doesn't wait for the right candidates to find you. ZipRecruiter scouts top talent for you. First, when you post your job, ZipRecruiter hustles to start showing it to the most qualified people. Then, ZipRecruiter races to build a roster of great candidates for your job, and you can invite your top picks to apply to encourage them to apply sooner. See for yourself. Go to this exclusive web address to try ZipRecruiter for free. ZipRecruiter.com/Bomani. Again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/Bomani. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. All right, we are back with Charles McDonald of Yahoo Sports. Monday Night Football showed Tom Brady in the box with the headset on, with the coaches for the Raiders. And for those of you who don't know, Tom Brady owns, I believe, 5% of the Las Vegas Raiders. And that's actually a little tricky with his $30-something million a year day job, which is working for Fox, doing football for Fox. And the reason is an advancement of sports broadcasting that John Madden brought in is that prior to John Madden, the broadcasters would just show up the day of the game and then go call them. And then John Madden said, there's no way that I could properly discuss a team on television without having seen them practice and without having met with the coaches. And so the broadcast teams now get time to meet with the coaches and they talk about stuff. Right?
Oh, yeah.
It's like when the broadcasters are like, look out for this guy. He was practicing this week. The coaches, they get information that other people don't get because it's with the understanding that you're not going to say anything about it until you get on television, right? It's a safe space is the way that we'll put it.
And so there's rules around that stuff too,
Right. And so Tom Brady last year couldn't go to those meetings and couldn't do that stuff because he is a part owner of the Raiders. And so they changed those rules a little bit. I don't know exactly how it goes, but it raised questions when you see Tom Brady with the headset on that he, through this time and through doing these games, he will be talking to people who work for teams that are then going to play for the Raiders, right? He's going to have access to a certain intel that is fair to ask whether or not he should have it. And so you got a lot of questions from people who saw him in the box with the headset during the game about that fact. Charles, I don't know about you. My question about it was, how annoyed are you if you were Chip Kelly? Because that just feels meddlesome.
It does feel meddlesome. And I just don't understand what's going on here with this, with Tom in general. It just seems like he's got his hand in so much stuff right now. And it's funny because you said it seems complicated when he's got these conflicts of interest, but he seems to be able to make it very uncomplicated by just walking into a room and going, "I'm Tom Brady," and and that works, and that's about it. Because like last year, he's talking to Ben Johnson when the Raiders are about to have a head coaching vacancy, and he's broadcasting the game. I'm like, you can't do that. Like that's not fair. And if you read the reporting, on the Athletic about their acquisition of Geno Smith, the Raiders' acquisition of Geno Smith, Tom was very, very involved in that, in helping them like decide that Geno was the quarterback that they should go after to maximize whatever this Pete Carroll window is going to be. So, this is someone who is already reported to be very like involved in like the big decision-making processes now with the Raiders. And now he's like wearing a headset during a game, and he's going to go call another game this weekend. But, he smiles and he shows us 7 Super Bowl rings. And it seems like that seems to win a lot of decision makers over as far as allowing him to break the rules. Because I don't know, like if Greg Olsen decides to start doing this, I don't know if it will go all that well for him. But, for Tom Brady, it's a charmed life. I tell you what.
First of all, Greg Olsen ain't got no get a piece of the team money. Let's just go ahead and throw that out there. If Greg Olsen get that money, it's because he hit the goddamn Powerball, in which case he ain't gonna be announcing no games, right? Let's start there, okay? Number 2, I am amazed at the way that everybody is bending over backwards to create a circumstance where Tom Brady can be a mediocre color commentator. Because at least as of now, he's not especially good at it. I do think he's good when he goes on with Colin, right? And he kind of gives his read on the state of the league or whatever, because he's so passionate about it. I think my criticism of him as a color commentator is it's just too important to him, right? Like, it's a game to us. He's not having any fun at all when he's up there watching that game and talking about it. Like when Baker Mayfield made that point, which I thought was a fair one, that it was a little looser after Tom left Tampa. And Tom was like, I thought the point was to win championships. I mean, damn, yeah, I hear you, brother. I do. But at the same time, you have to, you got to understand this. So he's there for Fox. They're paying him $1 zillion. It's not particularly enjoyable for anybody, especially not Greg Olsen. And so they've been like all these, it's just the idea, I guess, of being able to say that Tom Brady is on the broadcast. But
I don't care about that, man. I don't care about that.
No, I don't care about that. And I want to say this to be fair to Brady about not being that good at the job that he has right now. And it's something that I thought about when I was doing Game Theory for HBO, which is we did 2 seasons of Game Theory. We did 16 episodes. And that meant that I got to do a television show like that a grand total of 17 times. Like the only chance that you actually have to practice is with the whole world watching. And so back in the day, like take a guy like Phil Simms, for example. Phil Simms had gotten himself up to the point of being in the #1 broadcast team, but that is not where he started. He started doing like the 1 o'clock kickoffs, just like everybody else, and then gradually, moved himself up. That's where these cats used to go. That's not it anymore. Like the dudes that they want, they walk in and boom, Tony Romo, you starting off on the #1 team.
Yeah.
You remember when Jason Witten was out there? He was so bad, he went and played football again.
I forgot about that. I totally forgot about that. Yeah.
And they said he tested. Yeah, and they said he tested really well, but you have no other opportunity to practice doing that job except in front of the whole world. And Tom Brady ain't got no time to be practicing. He's too busy owning a team. and I would like to say one last thing. I can only take this to mean he really needs the money.
Because why else are you doing all this, man?
Yo,
why not just be the owner and just hang out? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what decisions he's made with his money. His old queen, she had all the dough or whatever. But they gave you 5% of an NFL team, but you can't cash that check.
But it's a different 5% because Mark Davis is so tired of making mistakes on his own that Tom gets to make real decisions. He's playing Madden, he gets to have a stake in the team without the real financial risk that someone like Mark Davis would be taking. It's crazy. And now I feel like I'm getting slapped over the head with this stuff because why do I need to know that he's playing flag football in Saudi Arabia? What?
Yo,
what's going on there?
Again, this is making me raise questions Like either he's really
that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah,
Need money.
either he's really greedy or he's got bills, right? Like this is the only. And if you have not seen this, there's going to be some all-time great flag football league. And by the way, now that nothing matters in the world anymore, and we don't care about these things, these guys can go over there. Myles Garrett, Justin Jefferson, all these there's a lot of big-time current players. Rob Gronkowski, who is not a current player, obviously. But they're going to go over there and play flag football in Saudi Arabia. And it wasn't that long ago that we would be up in the grill about doing such a thing. And we had all these questions about live golf. Nothing matters anymore. They're going to go play flag football in Saudi Arabia. And I bet everybody's getting 8 figures for it at least.
And people are going to watch too. I'm not me.
I ain't doing that.
I'm staying away from that. But people
Well, help me with this. If it's flag football, why we need Myles Garrett? Because he's going over there to play.
You gotta ask them. Is Myles Garrett just taking a check? I don't know.
I don't understand that. Like that just doesn't.
Now that's something I might be interested in watching. Watching Myles Garrett catch a pass against someone, but only like 2 plays. Like I'm not. Yes. You can't be locked in on that. That's like if it gets on Twitter, I'll watch that then. You know.
That is, I think, as far as I will go on it. But I was just thinking. There's no way that Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly want this. Like, they're doing their best job of selling, like, yeah, okay, whatever. But why do you need to be on the headset? That is the same way I feel about Carly Ursay Gordon, who is the new owner of the Colts. He's Jim Irsay's daughter. Irsay left the team to his 3 daughters. She's the one that, like, calls shots. And I thought it was interesting that she said that she wanted to be on the headset like early because she needed to know what kind of coaches she had, right?
Yeah.
I thought
that was actually a really interesting interview that she had about it.
I thought it made sense for a week though.
Yeah.
Like it can't be like this all the time.
Right.
That feels meddlesome. If Jerry Jones was on the headset on the sideline talking about I need to hear what kind of man my coach is, we would not act like that was nifty. We would not act like that was cool.
Because even if you're not saying anything, it's just it's your presence that it's a little bit too much. Because the Ursay's daughter, what's her name again? Carly. Yes, she actually said some cool stuff about how she was learning a lot about like play calls and how they go in, and some of the adjustments that are made on the fly as play calls come in. But like you could go to a meeting and learn some of that stuff. You don't have to sit here on Sunday on the sideline with the headset on, just kind of walking through the sidelines, listening to all the coaches talk. And I'm sure that it's been enlightening for her, and maybe it will help them make, help her make more decisions in a more productive manner for the organization as things go along here. But you could save that for another day. I don't know. It's just like, I don't know what, like if you're Pete Carroll, right, and you have coached so many different winning organizations across your time as a coach, whole different teams taking different forms. Why do I need to listen to Tom Brady? Chip Kelly, he's gotten to the NFL head coaching ranks, got to UCLA, had the cachet to say, nope, I'm done with this head coaching stuff. I'm about to go be the OC at Ohio State. Why do I need Tom Brady on the headset? Like, what value is he really adding that couldn't be added on Monday or Tuesday?
That's I think the point. Not that Tom Brady doesn't have anything to contribute.
Yeah.
But we up here doing our jobs right now, bruh. Like, I take that to mean that Tom Brady, I feel like he bored, right? Like, yes, I'll never forget when I was in college, I participated on the Honda Campus All-Star Challenge quiz bowl team, right? I was a beast. Anyway, we had won a national championship of some sorts, and so they honored us at halftime of a football game, which I will be honest, made me feel a little bit embarrassed, right? But people were very proud of us, apparently. Like, okay, cool. So I'm sitting there with a dude that was on the team with me, and he was a dude that was in the band, but for that semester, for some reason, he was not participating with the band. And this stuck with me forever. Like, I actually found this to be very profound, is that I'm next to him, and he looks at me and he says, "This is the first time that I have ever been at a football game without an instrument." He had no idea what to do with himself if he was at a football game and he was not playing the xylophone or, the instrument that he played. Like, he had no idea what to do. And I feel like that must be Tom Brady, right? Like, he's at these games and if at least the microphone gives him something to do. Like I now imagine that when he's calling these games, like his insides, it's like the fighting temptations in there. He has no clue what in the world he's supposed to do at a football game if he's not actually part of the action. So now here he is getting in on the headset.
Yeah, that's kind of like what I don't. I guess it's not what I kind of don't like. What I don't like about Tom as a broadcaster, and even like some other broadcasters, where it feels like every play needs to be like a breakdown of something. Like, hey man, just keep it moving. Like, I don't need you don't need to draw it up like when it's a 3-yard gain or explain like every little detail what happened, because sometimes it starts bleeding into the next play, and it just kind of it's boring to watch. Like, I remember when I stopped playing college football and I started doing media work, like I have some of my friends be like, yo, you watch film like for fun? Like that used to be the most boring part of all of this. I'm like, yeah, I know. It's really not that interesting, and it's not good on a broadcast either. So like I like Gary Danielson is my favorite broadcaster, like has been forever. Because he's such a good job like blending like here's a quick like 2-second X and O's thing like every 4 plays, but most of the time I'm here to make Vern chuckle. And was a great broadcast for me. But some of it feels too serious now.
Well, so this is what I think. I'm curious what you think about the distinction I'm going to try to make. There is a difference between teaching and explaining, right?
Yeah.
And so what you're talking about, and I do think I see this from a lot of guys, they use a little bit too much jargon, right? Oh man, we got a 3-man shell here. It's a 2-eye safe, and they
look, I like Dan and Lou Riddick or Nowalski. I like their work, but last night,
yeah,
whoa, boy, bring out the jargon.
Yeah. They were doing a little too much. But I mean, the God MC is John Madden, right? And for the people who were too young to get anything close to prime John Madden, even non-prime John Madden was it. But that is the God MC of doing this. And the thing that made Madden so good, you have to remember, is that Madden derives from a time where the archetype of a coach was not so much a CEO, but was an actual factual teacher, right? And so John Madden felt like a teacher at your school. And when he did get into explaining, he had the clicker and everything else, he wasn't saying what happened. He was showing you, hey, cool thing about football. This is a zone dog. This is what you do on a zone dog. Now watch the zone dog. And they'd be like, oh, okay, I get where you're coming from, right? Like, I think that's the key is you need to know how to teach your audience. And in a way, people only care if you know more than them if you're willing to share, right?
Yes.
If you're not sharing, they resent you. But if you're making it something we could all participate in, it's like, yo, I got more food that I know what to do with. Everybody likes that guy. You know what I'm saying? But they just over there watching you eat. Nobody likes that guy.
Yeah. Well, see that's why like I had a lot of people used to tell me I was crazy back in the day when I would say like Gary Danielson, I will watch any game that he broadcasts. And people are like, oh, but he's kind of slow. Like, no, if you listen, you will learn so much about like playing quarterback when Gary's on there, because it's not an overflow of information, but he'll like over the course of a game, he'll be like, oh, so they were running this coverage earlier and bang, now they can run a switch up route here and they got loose for a touchdown. But he keeps it lighthearted too, and he keeps it moving along. Like that's kind of what we need to get back to, because I do feel like football coverage in general has gotten very serious sometimes. Like, yes. And I like the data and the numbers and stuff like that. Like I use that a lot in my work, but it's still a game. You should be able to have a little bit of fun and laugh at what's going on without every play or every drive or every game meaning it's some referendum on the end of the world. Like some of the stuff I'm seeing 2 weeks into the season. Like, bro, y'all need to take a damn breath. Like, we got 15 weeks to go.
Yeah, sports broadcasts in general, but football broadcasts in particular, I really just want to watch this game. I don't need that much data, right? Like I think in a number of ways, we are really overrun with data. It's data all over the screen. You got a ticker at the bottom, depending upon what network you're watching. I don't need, and I get why they do it, right? But the game does then often feel secondary. And then as the game is going on, I don't I don't watch football or enjoy it as a puzzle to be solved. Though I am often intrigued by how the puzzle works. I don't like that's not why I'm watching it. I'm watching it for a good time. I want to throw something at you right fast as you are an Atlanta Falcons fan. Like you still do that. It's wild.
I know. I tried
And
to
you
quit.
know,
I really did.
I want to give you proof that some places they'll love you forever. On Three Sports is reporting that Virginia Tech
Oh no.
they just
Oh
fired
no.
they fired their head
Yeah.
coach after losing to Georgia Tech. But it says here, sources have told on Three Sports that some Virginia Tech boosters push Vick to get coaching experience. It would not surprise anybody in the industry if Vick is a serious name at Virginia Tech and future coaching searches. First of all, future coaching searches says a lot about what you think.
Yes.
It says a lot about what you think about the future of this program.
Right. What
But
future?
also, I guess for Vic, going back to Virginia Tech, that's kind of like Barry Bonds in San Francisco, right? It don't matter what you do, baby. It don't matter what they say about you.
I actually did get into this last week, and the first thing I thought was, Mike, you don't want to be the coach that takes this job right now. Take it after the next guy gets fired, because this dude, I'm an East Coaster through and through all my life. Like this East Coast football shit, that's what I know. Virginia Tech, like I tell like my brother, like my little brother and his friends, like, yo, like this used to be a real deal college football program, like churning out dudes to the NFL on a year by year basis. Like you go look up some of those guys who play Virginia Tech from like 2000 or not even 2000, like let's call it like 1995 to like 2012. Like that stretch, they put a lot of dudes in the NFL. And now it's nothing. Like they stink. They lost to South Carolina. They're trying to get this transfer stuff going. So you fire your coach now. This next year ain't going to be much better. So go see if you can build Norfolk State a little bit, get some wins, and then maybe go to there.
I would get my practice up and then maybe look at that job. But I think the expectation is that, okay, so I think that this is a college football thing that I would love to see studied a little more. If somebody could figure out a way to do something with the data, they do some data on this. But there are very few fertile recruiting areas that are truly no man's land. And the Tidewater is one of them. It's not close to any big school. Like for the longest, it's no longer the case because like Old Dominion and these schools have jumped up. But for the longest, the closest FBS school to the Tidewater was East Carolina. Neither of the Virginia schools are actually geographically close to the Tidewater. And so when Virginia Tech was running things is because they were the ones that got the players out of the Tidewater. When Mac Brown was winning at North Carolina, he was getting dudes out of Tidewater. Like whoever gets that all of a sudden has this spike in their fortune. So my guess is that Virginia Tech looks at it. Mike will walk out every player that he wants out of there. As we get our money up, right? Mike can go down there and then Mike can get the players and then we'll be okay. And I hear you. I'm just going to warn Mike about this because I see what might happen here, okay? Because, Eddie George was working at Tennessee State. Now he went and took a job at Bowling Green.
Hey, Eddie might got this, man. He seems pretty good at this.
He's good. He seems to be good. And the difference between Tennessee State and the other black college jobs is they're playing FCS, but I guess now other schools have made this move, but they're playing FCS at a higher level. They were not playing in the SWAC or MEAC. Like they were going against schools with a lot of financial advantages over them and everything else. And he parlayed that into the Bowling Green job. I talked to Eddie at the Super Bowl and he was like, look, man, working here is a different kind of job, man. Like this ain't Ohio State. He understood it, but he seemed to understand what it was. He's also not there anymore, right? I don't know why he's not there anymore, but he's not there anymore. I'm saying all that to say, they go drive Mike a little bit crazy over there at Norfolk State. I understand that. Like if Deion had left Jackson State and not been a jerk about it, I wouldn't have said nothing. I know that they was on some bullshit. I don't know exactly what the bullshit was, but I know it was some. I understand you. And I'm just saying, Mike, don't let the bullshit run you out before you get all the game you need. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, it's a marathon. It's a marathon.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling I know.
Let's just stack some wins.
I know they're going to be doing stuff down there. You're not going to believe it. I understand that. You might have to wash the clothes yourself. I get that too. But don't go too soon. Get your game up, then make the move.
Yes. Yeah, I did not think that I was going to hear Tidewater reference on this podcast today. Someone spent most of my life flipping between Maryland and North Carolina. Gotta tickle me a little bit. But bro, it's hard getting around out there. It's hard getting around out there. There ain't shit. Like I remember we were going to for my mom's birthday a couple years ago. We went out to the Outer Banks for a couple of days with some family and friends. And my girlfriend, she was like, "Oh, I want to come down. Think about flying from New York." I'm like, "Just don't bother," because what I'm not about to do is go drive an hour and a half one way to Virginia to go pick your ass up and then drive an hour and a half back just for 2 days. I'll tell you, couldn't make it. But it's really like that out there. So if you can get them to come to you instead of having to go to them, that'd be ideal.
I will. Last thing we'll do here. I think you did this on your podcast, so we can offer this up on our podcast. And I don't know why this tickled me so much, but tell the people what you thought was going to happen after Michael Vick got arrested.
Oh man, I thought that they were going to draft Darren McFadden and hold down the fort until Mike Vick got out of jail. Like when they. But to be fair, I was like 13. I was like, it was 2007, man. I was dumb as hell. Like, when that Matt Ryan pick came through, my jaw dropped. I was like, what the hell? I was like, you guys replaced Michael Vick that fast? And then Matt Ryan threw a 64-yard touchdown pass on his first play, so things were okay. But no, I was
run it back.
I thought they were going to hold it down the fort for him and keep the spot warm until he got back. I had no idea how anything worked back then.
I don't know why that was so funny to me. The way you said it the first time, he's like, Mike get out of jail. We just gonna run it back.
We got Darren McFadden. he's gonna be the next Adrian Peterson. Offensive line still pretty good. We're gonna run for 4,000 yards a year and maybe get to the Super Bowl.
You just treated it like Mike got hurt.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's kind of what it was.
You thought it was like back in the day, and Mike went to fight in Korea. And was just going to come back after putting in his time and just get back out there on the field. 2
years in federal prison might be a little bit harder than Korea,
It's fair.
Depending on which side of that.
Man, they had that boy wearing actual factual stripes.
Yeah.
Like he was in jail for real. I will say this about Darren McFadden right fast. I have to remember now that the years are passing. We're not at the point where Darren McFadden is a guy that it feels like there aren't that many of them left anymore because the forecasting game has gotten so different. But hey, man, there's some of y'all who are of a certain age that you do not understand that was a stone cold monster. My goodness.
That backfield, they had Felix Jones and Peyton Hillis too. Like what? That was crazy, man. Crazy. Like the hype was crazy. Oh.
Tim Tebow should have been a 0-time Heisman Trophy winner because after Arkansas won that game against the eventual national champions, where Darren McFadden ran for 200-something yards on rivalry weekend, there's your Heisman Trophy winner right there. Sorry, guys. Like he was the runner-up the year before. He should have got that Heisman that year. Absolutely should have.
One of the things that I remember from that year was I think that was the same season when Ronnie Brown with the Dolphins, like the Wildcat formation.
Yes, it was the year before Ronnie got on it. McFadden was on it first.
Right. Because I couldn't remember if they happened at the same time. But that is just such a simple but genius idea. Why am I handing it up? Why am I handing it to the quarterback? Just give it to Darren right off the bat and let him go run.
Yeah. And the thing with him was he was a high school quarterback, so he could. Yeah. There was a minimal threat that he might be able to do something. That boy was cold, boy. I also remember he's the last guy that I remember where negative on his draft stock was all these damn kids. That was the concern. And I also remember my buddy Chris Carter. Chris Carter was doing ESPN one day. He's like, now you got to understand, if you take Darren, he come to your team, Lil Rock is coming with him.
The entire town, entire city.
The entire town is coming with him, and they all kid. But oh man, he was a beast. Like maybe I need to figure out a way we come up with that series that just college beasts. Like yes. There's something special about a college beast. That was just like, no, boys. Even sometimes the college beast wasn't even like an All-American beast. Like we talked about Greg Jones the other day at Florida State. College beast.
Yep. Yes.
Flat out college beast.
Yeah, DJ Shockley, he's still good with Georgia fans to this day, man. Not the best quarterback they've had since then, but man, just held down. That's during some tough times.
Somehow, the last black starting quarterback at the University of Georgia.
Yeah, I mean
Cam Newton, Deshaun Watson. No. We don't really have a place for you guys to play quarterback. They had a place for him, just behind Jake Fromm.
They had this kid after Fields left. I mean, he was either right before Fields or right after Fields. He was a backup. His name was Dwan Mathis. And
yes,
man, that's one of those guys you can't even lie to yourself about when you're just like, you're trying to be like, you try to say some try to clean up some of the language around black quarterbacks, and you watch something like, man,
he was on tilt. He was on tilt. He was out there like, I don't quite know what to do. Like, he was a worse version of this. But when Jalen Milroe was so mad because Bill O'Brien said he was a running back and not a quarterback, and I was like, yeah, that was messed up.
Yeah.
Not that I've ever said that exact same thing.
Nope.
But it's because you're so good at running.
That's right.
Yeah. That's what happened.
What the hell were we talking about today? I don't even remember how we got here.
We got here because you thought that Michael Vick was going to come back out of jail to play with Darren McFadden. And then Darren McFadden got us to... Actually, now I don't even know. But I do know that your name is Charles McDonald. And you can check him out also with another friend of the program, Nate Tice, on Football 301 podcast for Yahoo Sports. My brother, I appreciate you joining us here.
Absolutely. I got one more real little Raiders thing from that era.
Yes.
Like the most famous football player from my high school is Darius Hayward Bay. And he used to come back during some of the summer workouts, and I got to say, he was not the nicest guy to us. He was very passionate about a high school football team, but he was not the nicest guy. So when we started dropping passes, we did keep track of them one season. Yeah, because kept track. Was very funny. But I need
to ask Dominique. No, Dominique did not play with Darius Hayward Bay. Oh, that's unfortunate. I would have been curious to know what Dominique had to say about him. Damn. But my brother, I appreciate you. And ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us here on The Right Time. We do this here 3 times a week. Ryan Brumley handles everything behind the scenes. Thank you, sir. Also, hit our voicemail line. Tell us what's on your mind. 323-596-7767. Remember, follow The Right Time. Subscribe, like, rate us, review us, give us 5 stars. You only give us 4 stars. I'm inclined to believe you are a hater. We'll talk to you guys in a couple of days. Take it easy.